Thanksgiving break. Hope everyone had a very safe one in whatever way you were able to celebrate. I know it was kind of a weird year for all, but it's still nice to have some time to rest and react. I have a couple of housekeeping things to get to. I see Virginie is just joining us, so I want to get through that before she comes on. Thank you so much to all of you who have already done student evaluations. I see about 45% of the class has so far. If you could make sure to take some time this week, they are live until December 4th, which is Friday, and they're super, super valuable to all of us. Not, all professors really like the feedback, both positive and negative, to improve and make things better for you guys, especially in such a weird semester where we've been remote and no one's really done this before. So always appreciate your feedback. Just a reminder on lecture prep questions. I received a lot today, so I'm really excited to hear all of your questions. And a reminder to those of you who have done 0, there are only 2 lectures left after today. So make sure that you submit for the next 2 weeks so you can get the full credit for those assignments. There'll be an attendance lecture question at the end of the lecture today, so please make sure to email me your answer for full credit for attending. There's also still some spots for career advice. Sign up if you want one or want some time to just talk about the class, things that we've discussed, any topic, and have some one-on-one time with me, please feel free. Quick flash of the schedule. As I mentioned, we only have 2 lectures after today. So we have Virginie today joining us, who's a collection coordinator for Isabel Marant. And next week, Kim Nemser, the Chief Merchandising Officer at Warby Parker, will be joining. And the last week will actually be a panel of people from Fashion Services Network. It's a really fun group, usually, talking about different career advice for the industry. And then the last class will be, the final will be due. You'll have a week to complete that, similar to the midterm. Virginie, I see you've joined us.
Yeah. Hi.
Oh, hi, welcome.
I can see you.
I can see you as well. Yeah, I have the screen up. I'll take it down in a moment. Students, I have some background on the French industry. I'm actually going to save it towards the end because of the fact that Virginie is joining us from Paris. It is 6 hours ahead, and I want to be very respectful of how late it's going to get for her.
Don't worry.
So we'll go through. We'll talk with her first, and then we'll come back to that because I think it's of interest for you guys, especially to put everything in perspective. But just a quick reminder of our remote guidelines, and for you to understand Virginie as well. Use the raise your hand button if you want to speak, and I'll call on students in order that they raise their hand. If you have an immediate or pressing question, or if there are any issues that are happening with technology, please put it in the chat function. If you're speaking, turn on your camera rather, so that we can have some eye contact. And please raise your hand. When you raise your hand, preemptively turn on your camera so that when I call on you, you're ready to speak. Unmute only when you're ready to talk, and just remember that all classes are being recorded. So with that, I want to introduce you guys to Virginie. Sorry, here, I'm pulling this up on my phone. There we go. She is currently serving as the collection coordinator for Isabel Marant, where she works directly under Isabel in the conceptualization of concepts. In this role, she is charged with checking the consistency of product offering across designers. She has worked at Isabel Marant since 2010, beginning as a personal assistant to Isabel. And in this role, she was instrumental in the implementation and planning of both the runway show and lookbook. She was promoted to a studio assistant before serving in her current role. Prior to working in fashion, Virginie was a successful actress in France in a series of films, TV shows, and commercials. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
You're welcome. I'm happy.
One of my focuses this semester has been with different people around the world.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate you joining us on your time zone and, talking to us a bit about what it's like in Paris, because it's definitely a little bit different than New York. In general, but obviously right now, everything is.
Right now it's kind of complicated, but we're working. We are working from home and at the office as well. It's been quite, we've been confined for like almost 2.5 months, like in March, and we had to do a collection, so it was kind of a new discovery for us, but we did it, and
Yeah.
it was not funny, but we did it, and now we're confined again, but we can go to work, but half the time. So it's
Oh,
easier
okay.
because basically to do what we're doing from home is really hard because I mean the fittings and touching the fabrics and choosing colors if you're at home, it's not
Very
possible
hard.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
it's
great. So
fine.
when,
We're
yeah, you're making spread. I'm trying to remember the timeline myself. When did France shut back down again this fall?
we just did 10 days ago, but it's
10
like
days. Okay.
it's like not as hard. It's better this time, easier, but
Yeah.
we don't know till when, and that's what's scary.
Yeah.
But we'll
Yeah.
see. I mean, we have to
Yeah.
do
I mean,
that.
it feels better than March because at least we kind of know more about the virus and
Yeah,
how it
definitely.
moves, and so we can
And
hopefully
we're
not
used to
be
it now.
completely shut down. Yeah, right. That's the other thing too. It was such a shock back then. Now
Yeah,
it's like, oh, all right, here we
yeah.
go again.
But we've been working as if nothing happened. So it's harder because of the delay of the fabric. Of the fabrics are coming mostly from Italy, so we have to wait because they're working less because of the virus as well, and we have to. Oh, we discovered how to sell our clothes from with like a camera because there was no showroom at all. So,
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's been an adventure.
Yes, that
Yeah.
sounds like it. Well, before we go too much more down the path of what's going on right now, I would love to hear more just about your path and how you got here, including your past career.
Yeah.
Always
Well,
interesting to talk with people about a career change.
yeah. Well, yeah, I started like years ago as a model, and I modeled for like few years. And by chance, I became an actress just by doing the right casting at the right moment. Anyway, um, I did some movies and TV movies, and after that, some commercials. And I had one kid, and then a second one. And I was right before working with Isabel, I was doing her showroom as a model, and she would call me sometimes just to do her production fitting because she's trying all the clothes on herself. But for production, obviously she can't see the back, for example, so she needs someone to be her back. So I was the back for a moment, and
Wow.
one day she called me out of the blue and she said, "Well, would you like to work for me?" I was like, "Well, I'm trying to have something of a career somewhere, but yeah, why not? Let's try. Let's do like 3 days a week and we'll see." And we never did 3 days a week. I went
Full force.
completely. Yeah, I went for it for completely, and it's been 10 years now. So I started as
Wow.
a as like a model slash assistant, and then because she doesn't really need an assistant because she's just a regular person with like normal needs. So obviously she needs help, but I mean, nothing like the Devils Wear Prada.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nothing like that. And I was the model, and I was as the assistant studio, and for I don't know, like 2 years like that, and then she gave me to take care of the show, and then she gave me more and more responsibility, but because I was at one point I wasn't trying anymore the clothes, and 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I can't remember, 5 years ago, she promoted me um, coordinator, and I'm really happy about it. It's exactly what I wanted actually, but I'm still assisting her, so I'm doing both,
You're
which
her
is
right hand woman.
what? No, I'm not.
You're her
No,
right hand.
but yeah, I'm. But yeah, Voilà,
That's great. Voilà. Tell us,
everything by.
yeah, tell us a little bit more about what your current role is. So you kind of pull together the
I'm
different
well. It's different. I think you can coordinate a collection in really different ways, whether you're at Isabel or at Saint Laurent or in another place. It actually you. I'm in the middle of the stylist, the how do you call them, the developer, what's the word for
production.
the product developer,
Production.
the atelier, the sewing people and the modelist,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and the commercial people, and Isabel. And well, that's my role at Isabel. I'm supposed to know everything about a garment, from the fabric to the trims to what color, when the fabric is coming to the atelier so we can try on some volumes, when it's going to be okay for the collection, and this for about 200 garments.
Wow. Wow. It's a lot.
But I mean, we're a lot. I mean, my role is that, but I'm surrounded with like really amazing people, and we're all helping each other. It seems really, but it's not. It's okay.
Yeah, no, that seems like a very interesting role.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Can you tell us what pre-COVID, what a typical week would look like for you in this role?
It depends. It depends if you. It really depends on how far you are if you're at the beginning of the collection or if you're at the end of the collection. Obviously, at the beginning, where Isabel is how do you say, choosing some fabrics, well, many fabrics, and I'm helping her with that, as well as the senior designers. And so for the first like 2 weeks, we're really into fabrics, wrap fabrics. We're like ordering a lot of them, and so they come, and then we try them on special volumes, and if it works, then fine, we pick the fabric, then the fabric is chosen, and then we so if it's the beginning of the collection, there's the first fabric, and then Isabel decide on what she wants to do, and sometimes it can start with just a fabric that, you know, give her like a sense of what she wants. Then there's the imagining the girl that she wants for this season, and me helping her by like providing documentation, such as like the start of the, how do you say, plan de collection, line collection, what's
Yeah,
the word in English, line,
line
you know,
collection, I think.
line
Yeah,
collection,
the
and
line.
yeah, and mood
Yeah.
boards, and many different documents that helps her. And then after, when we have finally chosen all the fabrics, which can take time, obviously, then a regular week would be a lot of fittings. So I'm in a fitting with her and with all the team of the designers, and we're trying all the
Yeah.
clothes. Well, she
Trying
is,
on.
and another model is with us, and we're just like noting everything down and choosing all the, well, for my part, I'm choosing all the trims. I'm updating all the documents for everyone to know what's happening. And at the end of the collection, we finally have it, and um, we shooting it. So we need to prepare shooting. Well, there are people who are taking care of this particular things, but we need to prepare all the collection um, in the way that everything is okay, so they can shoot like easily, and that's it, I guess.
Oh, that's great. Um, so I don't believe that you've ever worked anywhere outside of Paris, particularly in the fashion industry. I mean, maybe in your past life, but but I
Never.
don't know. So I don't know if this becomes a hard question when you have nothing to compare it to. But can you tell us a little bit about what the personality of the city is from a working standpoint? You know what it's like to work in Paris. what your hours are like, what your weekends are like,
Well,
things like
yeah, well, I can tell you about my hours. And at Isabel's, our hours are quite okay. We we start at like 9:30 and we're finishing at, I don't know, 8 p.m., which is kind of a normal day. It's not the case for all of my friends that are working in other places, and I mean, you can expect as a designer, not in all the jobs of the industry, but especially as a designer, you can expect to work a little bit more.
yeah, I have heard that. I've definitely heard
Yeah,
that.
but I
An
don't know how
intensity about Paris.
it's not like that in the United States.
New York, I think, tends to be,
Yeah, yeah.
but not necessarily everywhere
But
else.
there's as well in Paris, there's as well places where you have like normal hours, which are
Yeah,
our hours.
yeah. Oh, that makes sense. And what I also was told by last semester I had on Elodie Lifshitz, who I knew was a friend of
Yeah,
yours from Isabel, and she had mentioned that typically in the workrooms people all speak English. Is that
yeah. There's a lot
is
of
that
people
true?
speaking English. Yeah.
Yeah.
And lately we have had a lot of Italian speaking as well. So basically, if you want to work in fashion, you have to speak Italian and English, definitely.
Wow.
That's the two languages I've been talking. Yeah,
Yeah.
most. Yeah. There's a lot of
Wow.
people coming from United States, from England, from all around the world actually. So
Come
yeah,
work in Paris.
so English is our language.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Um, what has it been like to work directly for a famous creative director?
I'm sorry. Can you say
Uh,
that
what
again?
what is it like to work for a famous creative director
Oh,
directly?
well, I don't know what is it to work for a famous creative director. I know what is it to work with Isabel. Well, she's a
Yeah.
famous creative director, but she's like, as I said earlier, she's nothing like she's a normal person, so it's really nice and easy to work with her. She's
Yeah.
a hard worker, and she expects the best from her team, but because she's the same with herself, and she's the first at work and the last. She's definitely a hard worker, and well, I'm. It's. I mean, I've been with her for 10 years, so if I wasn't happy, I would have been gone for now. You know, it's. She's a really nice person, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy to work for her actually, and I'm really happy to work in a company where there's like mostly women, and a French one, and from with a woman that did everything on her own.
Mm,
It's
refreshing.
I like the idea of I mean I can rely on that. I mean I'm kind of proud.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, 'cause I would think that there's probably quite a few fashion houses in Paris that are not so female based.
No, no, no. Yeah, I guess. Well, there must be others for sure, but we're really. I mean, there are men's definitely, but
Yeah.
mostly. I don't know. It's like I think we're more than 80% of women,
Wow.
and
Wow.
it's not because I mean it's just it happens this way, but
Yeah.
and at
Uh,
first I thought it was going to be hard, but no, it's kind of cool. She's choosing
that's
the right
great.
one, so.
That's perfect. What are you most proud of so far with your career there?
Uh, well, I'm proud of having succeeded 10 years. This is like,
Yeah.
you know, at first would have thought, and actually, yeah, that's what I'm proud of because otherwise, I mean, I can be proud of I mean, after we're doing everything as a team, so there's nothing that I'm particularly proud just for myself.
Uh-huh.
I'm proud of the company I'm working for.
That's great. That's a
Definitely.
good way to be, for sure.
Yeah,
Tell us, so
sounds good.
I know you went into it a little bit before, but tell us what this year's been like. How did you guys execute your collection? Did you do a runway show? What were the big
Yeah, we do a runway show. We did. I'm taking care of the main line, so I'm taking care of the pre-collection and the show. So pre-collection is the main line, but that's gonna be delivered earlier, and the
cruise?
show and we're so yeah, for the show, but basically we're doing a show every end of February and end of September. So it's like I told you, we're preparing the collection and everything, and at the end there's the
Yeah,
show that we have to prepare, but it's a little bit more complicated because we have like days where we like with a stylist from the exterior, we're like she's with Isabel, how do you say, elaborating all the looks, and then we'll have the fittings with the models, and then we have all the preparation, like the basic things like who wears what, and um, we need to have everything prepared so nothing bad happens. And I'm taking care of all the how do you say, uh, all the lineups, all the fact that if a girl,
the
for
order.
example, has to looks, that yeah, the order, and that sometimes we don't have enough shoes, so one has to switch the shoes in between a pair,
Oh yeah,
that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But it's and
Operations.
yeah, for a week before the show, it's kind of a little bit hectic, but we're quite organized. So normally we're not finishing late, and we're not working like crazy hours. We're okay.
Civilized.
Yeah.
How was the show in September? I assume you probably couldn't have much of an audience.
We had an audience. We had like
Oh,
200 guests wearing masks, obviously, and it was
oh,
outside, and they
oh,
had
okay.
to respect social distancing as much as possible.
Oh,
And
great.
well, the show was amazing. It was hard to organize because of all the things we had to, how do you say, to respect. But we
Accommodate,
did
yeah.
it, and I was actually, that's one of my favorite.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
great.
I
Outdoors
loved
is
the
kind of
dancer.
changes the whole atmosphere, even if it's for a bad reason that you had to be outside, it kind of
Yeah, but it was
makes it
amazing.
unique.
Actually, yeah, to me it make completely it was there was something really liberating after being closed into locked into your home, being able to
Yeah,
be outdoor for a while, just even for 10 minutes. It was just like
yeah.
ah, you know
Breath of fresh air. That's
yeah.
great. And how have you worked out? You said that you guys are now half and half in the office. How did you work out who went when? Are you
Well,
paired
there
up
are
with
people.
teams?
For example, I am most of the time at the office because coordinating the collection. If I'm at home, it's really hard. But the stylist can are half, and it's like, we're managed to we're trying to be half of the people at the same time, so it's not crowded. And for the designers, it's easier when they have like special themes to work on, so they can drape at their place, or design at their place, or draw at their place, and then send us the file, and then we show it to Isabel, and we've been doing this since yeah, well, since a long time now. But
Yeah.
I prefer when everybody's at the office. Obviously, it's easier for everyone because my work is mostly to give information to everyone. So of course, it's easier for me to talk to someone directly than sending an email. But I mean, we're doing it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great. Can you share with us an experience where you made a mistake and something you may have done differently on your path
Hmm.
and what you
I
learned
don't
from
do
it?
mistake. No, I'm joking. I
I'm
made
perfect.
I made tons of mistakes. I've made Um, I don't know. I don't have a special example. I did many, 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 many mistakes for sure. But what I've learned is that as soon as you're telling that you did a mistake, that you're not trying to hide it, uh, everything is fine. You just
Yeah.
redo it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Fess
no,
up,
I
come.
didn't. Sorry?
Yeah, I fess up and move on, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Admit the
I mean,
problem.
everybody does mistakes, you know.
Right.
It's just human.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, no,
Good. No, great
probably I.
advice. um, have you been to any interesting places travel-wise? Did you go to Italy quite a bit?
No, I wish, but
No.
no, no,
No.
because as I told you earlier, Isabel is, I was her assistant, her PA, but she was traveling on her own because she doesn't need anyone. She's just, a normal person. So I was
Yeah.
staying at the office. So for work, no, I didn't. Well, actually, it's not true. For 2 years ago, I went to New York. I came to New York but just for 3 days. It was the launching of she made a collaboration with L'Oréal for makeup.
Oh, okay.
So I came with her and other girls from her team,
That's great.
3 days. But not so much fun of traveling now.
Yeah. How about in your modeling days?
Oh yeah, in my modeling, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah. You have to travel a lot when you're a model. I've been, well, all over. I've been in Japan, in Australia, in South Africa, all over Europe, in United States. Well, yeah, mostly
Yeah.
everywhere.
Anywhere that was a favorite location that you visited?
Um, I guess California.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
LA or
yeah.
San Francisco?
No,
LA.
LA, LA. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
live in LA, I guess.
Felt like the movies. Yeah, I mean, uh, until the fires, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but no, it is beautiful. Um, who's the most interesting person you've met along the way? Maybe in your modeling days, or maybe now.
Huh. Um, Oh, well, I met a lot of lots of really interesting people. A lot of people I'm working with, even right now, are like amazing people. Of course, Isabel, and all the people she's been working with since a long time. Like she's always um, I met few photographers she's been working with that are really interesting. I met, oh yeah, I met at the really beginning of me working with her. She did the last she was working a little bit with Emmanuel Alt, and it
Mm,
was she was I remember, well, it was years ago. I remember like being like completely like really impressed by her.
yeah,
um but I didn't met that much like famous people, but I met really interesting people for sure, but like regular normal people. So
yeah. It's funny. I ask that question a lot, and I feel like that is the majority of the time what people say. But
yeah.
I expect them to say someone famous, like
Well,
Michael
actually,
Kors or something like that, and then it's
well, no, I think that the people that are actually working, like really working in the industry, are must be at one point down to earth. I'm not talking about the designers or just the models, but the one that are making it happen. I don't think they care. I mean, they're just like everyone.
yeah, it's great. Why are you passionate about what you do?
because because it's because I like the fact that you're starting from nothing, and then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, with a lot of work and a lot of talent from Isabel and from her teams and stuff, all of a sudden there's like this whole collection that is coming from nowhere, and you're like, oh my God,
Mm, yeah,
crazy. It's each time, and it's been a lot of collections, but each time it's kind of like I I'm always surprised. I don't realize how we did it all,
Yeah.
because there's like less and less time, and all the time, it's like magic. It happens. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great. Um, one of my recurring themes throughout the semester is around sustainability and making products that's more eco-friendly and better for our earth. Is
Hmm.
there anything that you guys are doing at Isabel Marant that's along
Yeah,
those
yeah,
lines?
definitely. Well, first of all, in France now, it's been like 2 or 3 years, I guess, that it's an obligation. So whether you want it or not, you have to do it. But
That's
she
great.
was already doing stuff. But right now, we're like recycling. Well, at the office, we're recycling all the fabrics that we're using, all the paper. Um, we're working more and more with like recycled fabrics as well for garments.
Mhm.
Uh, for example, for puff jackets, I don't know the word in English, the watin, the puff inside is from recycled.
The down,
Yeah,
the
well,
poly down.
it's from recycled bottles, and the woman who's taking care of the choosing, well, picking the fabrics is like really involved into this. She's like picking more and more fabrics that are, or whether sustainable, whether fabrics made out of old fabrics, so
Wow.
even more sustainable actually. Um,
Well,
so yeah, well, we're trying to do our best, even though it's like not that easy to be perfect, but we're like so much better than before, and it's just the beginning of it, because now everybody's like proposing ways to be less, to be more sustainable. So even for
yeah.
the production of our show, we're sustainable. We're trying to be as much as possible, using recycled carpets, using recycled everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Well,
Yeah, if
yeah,
only if everyone would do it. I mean, it's one thing for a small design company, not small, but one that only
yeah.
has
No, but
luxury
yeah,
goods doing
completely.
it, but you
Yeah,
take a H&M and that's a big game changer
I know.
for the whole
Mm.
world. Um, what do you feel like one of the other than COVID, what do you feel like the biggest challenge is to this industry right now?
It's this sustainability.
Yeah,
It's
agree.
it's the it's the to me it's the future. I mean, to me there's no way. I mean, we upcycling. I don't know what's the solution. It's the solution must be upcycling, having less, probably making less clothes in a better way, clothes that are respectful of the environment, of even respectful of the people, that garments that you can keep not only for one season, but like that actually you can pass to your daughter, because you've been wearing 20 years, but it's still good because it's been made in a good way and because you love it so much. It's not, it's just, if you were talking about H&M, but if H&M was doing like, to me, sustainability is H&M doing maybe not 52 um, collections a year, but 26. Let's do it like half of it. Then obviously it it will be half less pollution.
Yeah,
But
that's
it
true.
means that people needs to, everybody, me and me as well. We need to change the way we're consume. How to say consuming? No, buying
No,
stuff.
yeah, consuming, yeah,
Yeah.
buying or consuming. Oh, that's a good point. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting next decade to see
Yeah,
how
but
it
yeah, to me,
flows throughout
upcycling
the
is
world.
the upcycle. I really believe in upcycling not only the garments but even the fabric. I mean, you
Yeah,
can,
yeah,
we'll
definitely.
see. They're gonna, those people are going to do it.
Yeah.
The
The people on
student.
this call, exactly. But and on that note, what piece of advice do you have for a student who's just starting out in the industry right now?
To be brave, to be courageous, uh, to uh, to be no, what I've learned so far is that um, to be true to yourself, meaning that to be sure that what you like, that to be sure that what you do you really like it, and you're not liking it because a lot of other people likes it or because it's trendy to like it, especially when you're a designer, is just to be who you are. Because that, I mean, all the people that have been successful in the fashion industry is actually because they were exactly at exactly who they were,
Hmm.
like deep down, and that they were liking this kind of beauty or this. So I guess it's like, yeah, to trust yourself, to believe in yourself, and to not pretend to be someone else.
That's very good advice.
Well, at least try.
Yeah. Well, I want to be super respectful of how late it is there, and I know I have a ton of questions from the students, so I'm going to turn it over a little earlier to them than I would normally.
Okay.
And students, raise your hand if you have a question. Muriel, do you want to start?
Hi, thanks for coming today.
Hello.
Hi. So my question is, do you have a favorite piece over the years that you helped to create as a part of one of your collections? Like one item or
uh,
look or something?
yeah. Well, actually, there's like few, yeah. Yeah, there is this blouse that Isabel did like for her show in winter 18 that I really love, with like a huge big collar and a nice print on a silk. How do you say brochet? I don't know the word in English. When the silk is
Bro
when there's a design within the fabric, not on
brocade,
top of it.
actually, which,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
guess.
So I guess this is the
Or,
piece.
or embroidery. Embroidery?
Well, no, because it's
No.
within it's when the fabric is made.
Oh, jacquard.
Yeah, jacquard,
Yeah.
exactly. Silk jacquard, printed.
That's a beautiful fabric. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bridget, I have you next.
Hi, sorry, my internet's being kind of weird. My
Hi.
question, hi, how you doing? Thanks for coming.
Good.
Um, my question is, with your role, since you have to mitigate between a lot of different departments, um, did you have to learn like technical terminology and design, and like how did you learn every aspect of your role, basically?
Good question. Well, yes, you have to, and you learn by doing it.
Okay.
And most of the times, really nice people show it to you. And at the beginning, you're really bad, and you don't know difference between a georgette and satin, and after like 2 or 3 seasons you definitely know more the fabrics, and it's the same for the for the trims, and it's the same for the even how a garment is made. You have to know pretty much, but you learn. It's easy.
Okay.
No, but I mean, really, I could do it. So it as long as you really like what you're doing, it will, it's just, and it's something, it's words that you're hearing like, I don't know, 1,000 times a day. So eventually you understand,
Pick it up.
you learn what it means.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, do you
You're
have any
welcome.
advice, I guess, along those lines? Do you have any advice for how to approach someone, if you feel like you really are out of your depth and need a lesson
Well,
on it?
actually, there's nothing wrong by saying you don't know.
Yeah.
It's way worse to pretend that you know when you don't know, because then you can make a mistake. I mean, If you don't know, well, you just say, well, that's what I did. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And I've learned by, as I told you, like asking questions a lot, being curious, and and actually, with the help of others, even like people way younger than I, like designers on my team, or I don't know, like, you know, I didn't know anything about design. I didn't know how garment was made, so I had to.
Yeah.
But to me, the best advice is just to tell, I'm sorry, I don't know. Can you
Yeah.
explain it to me? No one can tell you real, you can't get mad at someone who not knowing something.
Yeah. You think you're going to leave college and you're not going to need your notepad anymore, but I think that is the number one piece of advice that I received in my early years of working, was to always have your notepad with you, because you never know when you're going to be having this conversation with a coworker, not know what they're talking about, and want to write down notes so that you can go
Yeah,
back to them later. Because
for sure.
I think one of the, as an advice giver one day,
Hmm.
I'm sure you're in that boat now too, it's frustrating when someone keeps asking the same question over and over again, and you think, okay,
Definitely.
write it down so you can remember it. So
Mm-mm,
never go to a meeting without a notebook is basically my advice.
that's for sure.
Great. Thank you. Ken, I have you next.
Hi.
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 Hi. Thank you for coming and sharing your experience.
You're welcome.
My question is, you change career a lot, modeling, actors, and then fashion designer. So what is the challenging part of your life?
Um,
Which job is the
the challenge was to reinvent myself each time, but that's what I loved about it. I really like the fact that I did different things, that are not that related one to another, and maybe I will have like two or three more different jobs. Who knows? We'll see. Um, what was challenging is not to be scared, but when I started working with Isabel, I already had my two kids, so I was just like, anyway, I have to, how do you say, I have to make it happen. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Mary Kay Callahan, I have you next.
Hi.
Hi.
So we were talking about COVID earlier and how you've had to adapt and everything. Have there been any adaptations that like you and the company have made that you prefer, or that you like and will think to continue to use like later down the line when hopefully COVID's not a thing anymore?
Uh, um, well, no. I'm sorry to say that, but
That's
no,
okay.
I really prefer when there's no COVID, and
Mhm.
well, actually, it's not that true. We've learned a lot about computers, and I'm really happy about it. But I don't I'm not well, I'm working a little bit with computers, but that's not my. So now I know more about computers, and eventually it will serve. But basically, for what we're doing, it's so much easier without the COVID. Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Definitely. You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what happens if people do continue to use Zoom more creatively, or they do continue to at least have some flexibility around working from
Well,
home. Now that we all know you can work from home, it
definitely.
works.
Yeah. De-
How
well, I
much?
hope I hope I hope people can work from home if they want to more.
Yeah.
Definitely, but I'm really bad at working at home. I hate that. Really. It's, everything is taking hours to me, and as I told you, it's so much easier to well, I mean, we could Zoom a lot of our meeting, but even though there's no such thing as touching a fabric, and I mean, you're with Zoom and you're just like, you see it. No, I don't see anything. I'm far away. I can't touch it. So yeah, it was for what I'm doing. It was hard, but yeah, I hope it can offer more flexibility to people that wants to work from home. Definitely.
That's great. Thanks. Angel, I have you next.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Hi.
So I just want to say, first of all, thank you for coming. It was really nice to hear from your perspective, and someone living in France. That was really interesting. So my question was, I was looking into the brand and
Yeah.
a lot of the past collections, and I love the most recent Spring 2021 collection. The use of color and textures was really pretty. I like
Mhm.
the color story a lot. So I wanted to ask, what was the inspiration for that collection, and also the general inspiration for the brand, because I noticed like the color story is like a little different for the spring 2021 than usual, but I really liked it. So
Yeah. It's more vivid.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Um, well, well, it was, wait, because I'm getting mixed in between the collection. The last collection, it was Brazil.
Okay, right.
The summer collection, it was,
Mm,
the inspiration was Brazil. And the general, how do you say, inspiration for Isabel is actually to make clothes that you can wear, which is sometimes, not that obvious for designers. So that you can wear and that you want to wear, that are not like, and it's a woman making clothes for women. Well, she's now making menswear, but at the
mm,
beginning, I mean, first she did clothes for a woman making clothes for women, and it was, you can tell that when you wear Isabel. It's just like you feel confident yet comfy, and not someone you're not.
right.
You're not, how do you say, disguised, dress up, not dress up, but when you put a costume on,
Mm,
you're just more true to yourself, I guess.
okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Violetta, I have you next.
Hold on, my camera. Oh, there we go. Hi, thank you so much for
Hi.
coming. This is so
You're welcome.
exciting. Because out of everyone in the semester, we haven't had anyone like out of country before. So
Okay.
I'm very curious to know that when you were a model for so long and she gave you this opportunity to work for her, what was your like first initial thoughts? Because you were a model for so long, you weren't exactly, at least I don't know your entire experience, but like how versed you were in the sense to be her assistant in that aspect of fashion. So I'm just really curious of what your initial thoughts were and what you kind of felt was going to happen, I guess, when you got the job.
Oh, uh, I was when I think about it, I understand that she offered me to change a little bit of role and to move from a model to a studio assistant, and then to what I'm doing now, because actually I was really interested in everything else that was going through in the company. And while I was trying on the clothes, I was listening to everybody speaking, and I was and she's a really easygoing person. So you can tell that when because I was trying all the clothes, I could at the end I could tell there was something wrong, because it was feeling uncomfortable, or I could tell her, well, this thing, I really don't like it. I think it's too short or too long. And I guess she saw in me something that I didn't even thought about. And then everything happened, like organically, like normally, like like you have a plant and it grows and it becomes, like big leaves. Well, it's just without thinking. It was just the normal evolution, and I was not getting younger. So modeling after, no, but it's true. At one point it was and she was using me as a model because she's trying all the clothes on herself. That's the most important to her. That's the only way she can feel what she's doing, if it's right. And as I told earlier, it was just to help her, just to check the back, or to have two people. Sometimes it's more convenient because you're doing twice, you're going twice as fast, for example, to try on the clothes. But she I guess at one point she had enough of me as a model. So no, but really, so
Hi.
she no, but like an old couple. No, but and she had to change, and because I was there, and because I knew already a little bit more about she could tell that I was probably going to be useful in other departments,
Mhm.
I
And
guess.
then one quick question, because I'm just curious,
Sure.
why do you guys only speak English in the workplace, I guess?
Well,
Because I'm
we
just
speak.
curious at
We
that.
not on. We not only speak English, but we do
Oh,
speak English. It's not.
oh, okay.
We're.
Sorry, I
But
misinterpreted.
for example, with Isabel, we can speak English if there's a designer that speaks more English than French.
Hmm.
But if I'm alone with Isabel, I would speak French, definitely. But my colleagues, there are like one who's Italian, who's coming from who's Italian, but who's been working a lot in London. So she speaks fluent Italian, fluent English, and now she speaks fluent French. But before she was speaking fluent French, it was easier to her to speak English to everybody because everybody was understanding what she was saying. So basically, when we were talking to her and we were talking in English, and easily after that everybody talks English, and we're just like having this
Oh,
conversation in English without I mean, it's like, okay. But now it can change because now she's fluent in French. But even though now we still speak English together, well, we speak Italian together, but when we speak all together, then we speak English.
okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Ella, you're next.
Hi, thank
Hi.
you so much for coming. Really learned so much. I just have a question. What was the biggest lesson you learned from your entire career, both modeling and working under Isabel?
um that Interesting question. I guess what I guess was maybe adaptability. Can you say that?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what you need the most for everything. Well, to my point of view and to what I've been doing. If I mean, being able to feel confident and comfortable everywhere, which is not easy, but yeah, and being up to with Isabel, what I've learned is like I don't know the word in English, is like polyvalence, when you're able to do different things that have no nothing to do one with another, when you're able to no
Jack of all trades, maybe, or
I don't know, when you're, let me check.
Renaissance man. They're both male terms.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's say adaptability, and the fact that you don't stay focused in your, you don't stay like prisoner in your square of what you're supposed to
Uh-huh.
do, that you just
Yeah.
spread and go, you know discover other, because we do that a lot in at Isabel's, and I don't know if it works the same way in United States, but with a senior designer, for example, or even with not a senior designer, but just someone who's just arrived, we can ask her to make prints. We can ask her to work some softs, or to do tailoring, or she can be just, she can help at the fittings, or she can, I don't know, doing making elastic for the fabric to everybody has to be okay with doing what's needed at the time that it's needed,
Uh-huh.
because it's just for the big boat you're in, that is like,
Hmm.
so I
Moving it
guess
all
yeah.
forward.
Sorry.
I'm moving the ship forward, or what?
Yeah,
What
exactly.
have you? Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Shannon, you're next. Or Shay.
Hi.
Hi.
So my question would be, is it more difficult for you to be objective to a collection if it is something that you like, or like a style that you like, or is it more challenging to be objective to something that's totally out of like your age range or lifestyle choice?
No, I guess it's easier to be objective when you don't like it.
Okay, why would you say that? Do you think it's because you have like less of an emotional response to it?
Yeah, because you can it's like when it's the same for people you like. You're okay with their how do you say, défaut,
Faults.
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 When you don't like someone, you're it's okay to to say that you don't like him because of this, that. I think it's the same for garments.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Claire, you're next. Maybe. Claire?
Oh, sorry, forgot to turn on my mic.
Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for coming. I
You're
have a
welcome.
couple questions.
Yeah.
Firstly, is the French industry, or like for French fashion industry, much different than the American one? Do you know?
I don't know. I guess not. I actually I really don't know. We have like probably less tiny small houses that are like really old, that are still, working a little bit. But I guess nowadays there as much fast fashion as there is in United States, definitely. And I don't know if within how do you say, a company, I don't know if it works the same way. This I don't know. I had a friend who was working for Elodie, who was working for in
Frank and
United
Bill.
States, and she told me that what was different was that everybody has a really really specific role, and that is like, remain in this role. To my experience, but only at Isabel, this is not true
You
at
kind of
Isabel.
you
Okay.
kind of move.
Well,
You all take on different roles to get the job done.
yeah, well, yeah. The
Yeah.
only important thing is to get it done.
Yeah.
Okay. And my other question is, since you're an actress, I'm sure you were working with costume designers,
Yeah.
in movies and TV shows. Is there any advice you'd like to give to a costume designer from an actress's point of view?
Um, well, yeah, definitely. It's always better to listen to the actress when it comes to what she likes to wear or not. Obviously, when the part is has I'm work I'm it's just that um, costumes are always best when they're like incarnés, when they're, you know,
Comfortable or
yeah, when they,
natural.
no, it's not the word. Putain. If an actress doesn't like her costume, definitely she would be bad.
Mm-hmm.
She has to feel confident and comfortable, and by not liking, it doesn't mean beautiful. It means that at one point she needs to feel that it's her own. So I would say that it's really important not to force her to wear what she wouldn't. But I guess it well, it happened to me, but like in really crappy TV movies. So when you're working with like really nice people, they're just, you know, they know better, so they know how it works.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Shaewon Shin, I have you next. Shaewon, are you there?
Oh, she's
Hi.
saying the word I was looking for.
Hello.
Incarnate, personified. That's what you were saying?
Yeah, that's what Sharon is typing. Yeah.
That was the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Can you see my screen?
We can see
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Yes,
We
you.
can
we can hear
see
you.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you for coming. I have a question. What is required to be a correction coordinator?
What is what? The quality?
What is required to be collection coordinator?
I'm
The
sorry, I
qualities,
didn't hear you.
the
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 qualities to
qualities
be a
needed.
quality. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's what I heard. A good memory, being able to do many things at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, not many, but at least two. Normally being a good communicator, which is not always my case, but trying to do my best. Knowing the most possible, knowing what you're talking about. So it means that you need to learn about what you don't know, and yeah, you need to know what you're talking about. So you need to know a little bit of design, and you need to know a little bit about how a garment is made, and you need to know a little bit about how a garment is made by the factory. So I guess well, yeah, this.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Evangelos, I have you next.
How's it going?
Good.
So, Virginie, my question is because of sustainability, do you suggest the fashion season industry have only 2 fashion seasons a year? Do you think 4 fashion seasons a year is too much?
Well, yeah, I guess so, yes. I guess it's really hard to keep up with the calendar.
Yeah, the
And
timing.
yeah, the timing, and that you have to ask yourself whether you're doing clothes for the calendar or
Right.
because you want to do them. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying it's easy. And of course you want to have your clothes that are, I mean, you want to sell your clothes, but definitely with what happened with the COVID and everything, we realized, well, we knew it before, but we realized more that
Mm-hmm.
what's the point? I mean,
Yeah.
why not making collection when you're just ready?
Right, right.
But
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, and I think our last question is from Siwon Kim.
Hi.
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 Can you see?
We hear you, but we do not see you.
Yeah.
Okay, just.
Now we don't hear. She lost her connection, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll be back.
I'm sorry, I don't know why, but my camera is not
Okay,
working.
you can leave it
okay,
off.
we can
That's fine.
hear you.
Okay, but thank you for today, and I really love Isabel Marant style. So when I decided to study fashion, it was Isabel Marant was a big influence. So
Good.
I was like I want to work for Isabel Marant one day. So
Perfect.
I'm curious, like, can international students who have studied in other countries besides France also do an internship or something at Isabel Marant?
You mean, yeah, there's, absolutely, you can, how do you say, apply even if you've never worked in France. That's what that was your question, right?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. There are people in the studio that are coming from all over the world. We're not, it it's the no, not a problem for sure.
Okay, thank you. And
You're
I have
welcome.
one more quick question. And
Yeah.
do you have your favorite collection during you working for Isabel Marant?
My favorite one would be it's hard. I guess I would say winter 16 or summer 19.
Okay,
So it
thank you.
doesn't mean nothing to you, but you will check on the
Yeah,
website.
I will check that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's it from us. Thank you so much. I know you're joining us at the end of a very long day. So we really, really appreciate you taking the time and
With
telling
pleasure.
us your expertise, and it's been wonderful. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Bonne chance à tous. Bye.
Bye, bonne nuit.
Bye, bonne nuit. Oh, well, no, not bonne nuit for you, but bye bye, bonne fin de journée.
Yeah, hey, I'll go to bed now. It's 5:30. That's fine.
Bye.
Bye. Students, if you could just stay on, I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint really quickly. If my dog will cooperate. So I wanted to go over a couple things about France because it is such a powerhouse in the industry, and just some kind of fun history about it, and why France is so influential on fashion. So it first kind of became a fashion showcase during Louis XIV's reign in 1643 to 1715. If you're familiar with him at all, he was called the Sun King. He's a very lavish character, and it sort of escalated during his reign. So Versailles has a very lavish style, which was a particular influence. In Lyon, the textile production picked up, and Alençon, the lace production, and then in Paris became the fashion center at the time, which was just a few miles from Versailles. So it made sense that it was close to the monarchy. Paris couture is the center of haute couture. It began in 1858 with the House of Worth being kind of the first big name fashion house. And a couture house evolved from there. It's an apparel firm for which a designer creates original designs and styles. The proprietor of a couture house is known as a couturier, or if it's a female, like as a Marant, couturière. And World War II had a major influence on all of the world's fashion as Paris was occupied and then rebuilding. Since this had been the fashion epicenter for centuries, essentially before World War II broke out, it was a very interesting way for America to kind of come on the scene, because America was left relatively unscathed by World War II, whereas a lot of Europe, and Paris in particular, was both occupied by foreign bodies, but then also really destroyed in the years that followed, and there was a lot of rebuilding that had to happen in the years that followed it. So it kind of made for a moment where these other places could emerge as fashion places, and that's when you really saw a lot of American designers pop up. There are not too many famous American designers before, say, 1920. You know, Chanel is kind of one of the oldest houses in America that exists, and that, you know, the reason there were so many that popped up since then is because the opportunity arose. In the French fashion world, there is the Chambre syndicale, was formulated in 1868, and it is an invitation. It was an invitation-only place, and it enforces strict rules on people, designers who join it. In 1973, the La Fédération was established, which is an executive structure for all the different trade associations within France. So, for example, menswear, ready-to-wear, and haute couture all have their own different federation that kind of rolls up, Chambre syndicale that rolls up into La Fédération. You can check out this website here for the Fédération. I can actually Google to it, but it will tell you a little bit more about the way, the rules that they enforce. And you heard what Virginie just mentioned, which is that, you know, from an eco-friendly standpoint, there are specific rules within France that have been imposed on everyone, and that is kind of unique. It's not necessarily the way of things here in the States. Paris Couture Houses trade shows, there are twice a year. There's a spring, summer in late January into February, and a fall, winter into late July. Haute couture means made to measure, and it's been declining a bit in recent years. So made to measure being something that's actually fit onto the body or the garment of the person who's buying it. There has been a bit more of a rise in pret-à-porter, or ready-to-wear, which is sold to department stores and specialty stores. Couture boutiques would be the French word for a shop. And then licensing agreements, which branch out more into accessories and fragrance. You heard Virginie mention a partnership that Isabel Marant had with L'Oreal, obviously using her name, but working with a different licensing company like L'Oreal, which is a powerhouse in the cosmetic industry, to be able to take her name but bring it to life in cosmetics. French ready-to-wear, they're designers and mass market producers. Pret-a-porter trade shows are twice a year, in March and in October. And then runway shows from designers at Carousel de Louvre, mass market and ready-to-wear at Porte du Versailles Exhibition Center. Just different places that and different times of year that these different shows happen. Similarly to how it works in New York City with far different fashion weeks when they existed. I mean, they do still exist, but when they existed in the way that you could attend in person. Men's pret-a-porter masculin traditionally is held in July and January. So this is just really, I was a crash course for you guys in the way that things are different. I know that was a question that was out there. Virginie maybe not being the best person to say that since she's only worked in Paris, but there's definitely a little bit more of a culture around fashion in Paris as opposed to other places, just because it has been around for such a long time. So it's an interesting, definitely an interesting, different look into the way that things work across the world. Does anyone have any questions on this drive-by French fashion lesson? Great. Well, I wanted to take a moment to go over your midterm as well. See, we have a little bit of time left. If you haven't noticed yet, your grades are posted. So everything should be up and live and updated in the Grade Center. As a whole, you guys did an awesome job. Loved reading your perspectives, especially when you went into depth a bit more. And I also, about your personal opinion rather than just facts, I also left notes and commentary on everyone's midterms. So if you're not able to see those, please do let me know. Kylie, did you have a question? Kylie? No?
There it goes. Sorry, my audio wasn't working.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I saw that you had them posted there, and when I went to look at the comments, it said that I did not have access to them and to ask the instructor for access to the comments.
Okay, is anyone else having that problem?
Yep.
Others are. Oh, I don't know who said that. Let me dig in when I hang up with you guys today and see if I just need to change the settings. It says that feedback should be available, at least I believe when I set it up, but I'll double check it. So thank you for letting me know. Has that been the case for everything that you guys have turned in this semester? Or have you seen comments previously?
Just for that so far.
Okay. All right, cool. I'll double check and see what the deal is. So for the first question, after reading the State of the Fashion 2020, which two major themes stood out to you as challenges fashion companies face should have faced this business year, including examples? Does anyone want to share what they found to be the biggest challenges? There were definitely some recurring themes, I'd say, in a lot of your answers.
I mean, I felt that sustainability, as always, was one of the biggest challenges, and how consumers are becoming more conscious of sustainability.
Yeah, I would definitely say that was on almost everyone's common theme. Anything else?
I thought the emerging fashion markets in China it was kind of interesting to read because I thought it was like a challenge, but also an opportunity because they were growing so rapidly and there were just so many technological advancements being made over in China and manufacturing being based there. It was interesting to read about that.
Yeah, definitely. I also found it interesting to me, teaching this course this semester with everyone being where they're from, just how varied responses were based on your personal geography. And I think that a lot of our classmates that are based overseas called out that opportunity as a big challenge that's out there, just facing the global economy and accounting for what's happening in China and India. Anyone else have anything to add? Okay. Our second question is similar, but taking those challenges and listing out what we actually think are the two biggest opportunities facing fashion companies, the biggest place to make money, the biggest place to grow as a company. Does anyone want to share what they put here?
I said that sustainability was also an opportunity, even though it's a challenge. I also added it to this answer too, as an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge on the one hand because it's expensive and it's a big undertaking to get going, but it's an opportunity on the other hand because customers are caring more and more about it being a part of the model that, of the companies and brands that they shop from. So I think you're totally right.
I felt that kind of the emergence of the Southeast Asian industries and middle class and all that is another opportunity because a lot of people when they think of growing markets think China, but there's also a lot of Southeast Asian countries that are have a really growing middle class with money to spend.
Yeah, that's great. Anyone else want to add anything? Brittany.
I also put the pandemic as an opportunity. I know it was a supplement to the original one, but I still thought it was interesting because even though the pandemic has caused so much turmoil and distress, it's also it's like an opportunity to reshape and move more into digital and to accelerate sustainability. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and a completely new product category that didn't exist a year ago sprang out of the pandemic with these masks.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty interesting to see how fast people were able to pivot and get those to their floors and sold. I have to imagine the margins are pretty decent given how easy they are to make. So, anyone else? Okay. Third question is to list the 3 given categories of how consumers are shifting and provide an example of how each of these affects the consumer's fashion buying preferences. There was a right answer to this with the 3 given categories that they listed. Does anyone want to say what one or all of them are? Brittany again.
I put social media. The other thing that I put was, ooh, wait, I can't look at my the demand for sustainability, and then also I forgot exactly like how I said it, but basically redoing, you know, like that online shopping is not really relevant anymore, and how people have to come up with like smaller market stores, kind of. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so next generation social media, I think is, yeah, this idea that social media is evolving, and the people who are doing a good job at that are going to do a better job at bringing in new consumers, getting the Gen Z customer. And you know, that customers need to be nimble and evolving as time goes on for that to be up and up with what's happening in social media. Then yeah, in the neighborhood was the next one, which is to that end that, you know, you cannot be successful. Well, it's difficult to be a large scale company only online. That multi-channel, omni-channel across both ways of distribution from a brick and mortar standpoint and a online standpoint are the way that you are going to be successful. And companies like Nordstrom, who are trying out these models, like a Nordstrom Local that has all of these added services and things that are happening for them in the store that drive people into the store. I don't know who of you has been to the Nordstrom flagship here in the city, but I think it's not necessarily a Nordstrom Local model, but it has a hairdresser, it has, you know, a beauty salon, it has a shoe polish place, it has a tailor, it has and a million different places that you could eat, from the men's to the women's store. And it's just it's a reason for the customer to go and interact and have an experience with the store in a way that can help keep that business thriving in a time where convenience always feels like it's the key. Experiences can also be important too. And then of course, yes, sustainability, common theme, both in our lectures and pretty much all the answers to these questions. But sustainability and how much consumers care about it and are shopping towards it more and more as time goes on is how customers are shifting. I really enjoyed all of your answers on 4, just giving 3 examples of how you feel COVID has fundamentally altered the predictions of this report, which obviously came out about a year ago, so before all this all hit. And does anyone want to share what they put? Some of you definitely surprised, you know, I was like, oh yeah, I hadn't even thought about that, but you're totally right. But Sharon?
Okay, I don't know if I'm totally right, but I guess I thought the prediction that the industry was moving more towards more online advertising and market share grabbing. I don't think they anticipated quite as much.
Yeah.
It went a little bit.
Who would have thought that, you know,
yeah. They couldn't put enough money into social media platforms. I think they did not predict. They kind of saw a trend, but a lot of bankruptcies. I mean, the number they had was 40%. It must have been like 400%, you know, bankruptcies and just completely going out of business. And then I also, the brick and mortar idea, which was sounded really good. I think they're going to not really be going that way so much because they have other things to invest in, because it's a big mess now. There's a lot of product just sitting on boats in harbors somewhere from last 2 seasons ago at this point. So they're going to have to clean that up before they, you know, get creative, I think. So we'll see. We'll see how. That's what I put.
Yeah. Anyone else care to share? I think a lot of people put sustainability fell by the wayside, you know, it being such an important topic across and theme across, and both from a consumer standpoint and also just an opportunity to do better and be better. And when everything kind of got crazy, I feel like it's one of the, you know, the prediction being this is one of the things that went out the window. Anyone else?
I think I'll just add that could go either way. You know, that could, if they're really creative with all this excess product that's sitting somewhere in, you know, factory floor. A lot of recycling. I mean, maybe it's the opportunity, cause gives the opportunity to actually do it as opposed to stopping, fixing, and then, you know, selling it.
Yeah, you're right on some point. I think too, that's something that we've heard as a theme throughout the semester from a lot of people who've been here, is that COVID has given people a lot of time to focus on some of those nitty gritty, like housekeeping things that you've been pushing off, because suddenly, you know, like there's not as many deliverables. There's suddenly a bit more time because you're not commuting, things like that. So maybe it's possible that a lot of companies did focus on this because it's always been a back burner item that they weren't thinking about, and now they had time to figure it out. Guess we'll see. Anyone else? Okay, well, the last question was just a true false, and it was false because it was 66% of respondents said they consider sustainability when making a luxury purchase, which is quite a high number, and I think only growing as time goes on. As I said, generally, you guys did a great job. I'd say the number one call out I would have on answers was just that it didn't really feel like it was referencing the text, but I'm going to go in and make sure that you can see all my comments, and then if you have any further questions, please feel free to chime in and ask back. And I will leave you guys with the final attendance question, which is, after what you learned today, would you be interested in working in Paris? Feel free to elaborate as much or as little as you'd like.
Yes.
And hey, I think you guys probably have all seen it by now, but Fran Dunaway actually ended up gifting everyone at least a $25 gift card, and then 5 of you got the $50 gift card. So hopefully you'll do some fun Christmas shopping with it. I think that was such an awesome treat. Brittany.
Oh, I was going to say, if anyone ever wanted to work in Paris, there's this really good show on Netflix called Emily in Paris. I don't know if anyone's seen it.
I've heard about it. I'm kind of interested in it. Yeah, I heard it's fun.
Yeah, it's definitely fun.
Mary Kate likes it.
Would it be possible to get us some glasses for dance next week? Yeah.
I'll ask her. I don't know. All right. Well, thank you. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to go in right now and check out the midterm and see what's going on with the visibility. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I have one more thing I wanted to tell you guys. I can't remember. Someone emailed me this week. I can't remember who it was right now, but asking for the update on, actually, maybe it was you, Catherine, on the update of the COVID version of the State of the Fashion 2020. And so I went ahead and uploaded that into the content drive for you guys. But if you really liked reading this, which I think it's a great thing in the fashion industry to read this report that comes out every year, you can access it with your student email address, the Business of Fashion. If you go to the library and go to Business of Fashion, it will take you through to their website and how to sign up with the details on that. So pretty soon, if it's not out already, I have to check. The State of the Fashion 2021 will be coming out, and it's there for you guys to read and understand what's going on in the whole scheme of things. Ready?
Bye, Professor.
Hi. I don't know if you saw, I was just going to turn my camera on. I don't know if you saw my email earlier about I don't know if I signed up correctly. I thought it was for today at 5:30, unless, was that wrong?
No. Yes,
For,
it was. Yes.
I just wanted to know if there was any way we can reschedule to next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I can go back in the document and just pick a different time.
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. Today was great.
Okay, no problem.